twice now. All right. Tough of my teeth. Hold on. Save it for later. Welcome to another edition of BeerAmerica.tv. I'm Paul Leone with
John Pinkerton.
And we are talking about Bock beers today.
Indeed.
And we're here in Fort Worth, Texas. And, you know, the brewing scene in Texas, the state's huge. So you'd think that there would be a brewery, 100 breweries, right? Not really. I mean, you know, the scene is just starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we have one brewery here in Fort Worth, and there's one in Dallas. That's it. And the brewery here is called Rahr Sons. And for a lot of the brewers out there, and people know how to brew, Rahr, it might sound familiar because they had malting, and they still sell Rahr malts. Pretty.
Yes,
do you use any of them?
I do.
You do. So there you go. They don't do that here, but it is a family, and the same family owns Rahr Sons here in Fort Worth, Texas, which you and I have done some blogging from.
Yeah, that was an eye opener to me because I thought the name sounded familiar, but I didn't realize there was that family connection.
So I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of a lot of the Rahr beers. I think they brew pretty good beers, but I will say lately they've been coming out with they've been getting a little bolder, which I've been happy about. You know, maybe I'm spoiled, you know, I mean, because we do these and we taste some really great beers from all around the country. So they came out with a beer called Bock. And, you know, you think of the springtime beers and we think of Bock, and this is their springtime offering, German-style Springbock. And I got to tell you what, I fell in love with this beer. I mean, I think I bought it all up everywhere. It's almost gone because I'm buying it up and drinking it. So
single-handedly clearing the market.
Single-handedly. So I said, you know what, I got to save a few of these for you because I wanted you to try this beer because I just thought it was exceptional. I thought it was really wonderful beer.
You know, do you think it's exceptional because it meets your expectation of that kind of malty Bock quality, or
yeah, but there was a certain hoppiness to it that I really enjoyed, and it had a good amount of alcohol to it, but it wasn't boozy, and I just really enjoyed. I do believe it's 7%. 7. It
was a nice little lager nose to it.
Yep. Super good. I drank a lot of this.
Caramelly notes.
But there's a wonderful malt flavor that I'm not familiar with in this. And
to me, it's pretty much hitting the nail right on the head. I'm getting that kind of toasty quality that, to me, Bock beers should really be defined by Munich malt.
Okay.
Munich malt is what we often call high-dried malts, and there's a range or kind of a window of what we would expect from Munich malt, but primarily what we're talking about is this kind of like crisp, toasty, kind of like cracker-like quality that really kind of, I think my mentor in the brewing business, John Mallett, once said that Munich malt is the malt that really says malt or grain, like this is what grain tastes like. And when you're talking about a German beer with this kind of malty snap to it, that's sort of a Munich signature.
And this goes back to I'm going to whine a little bit here for a second, that, you know, it's a one-time release in the spring, and I think this beer would work year-round, in my opinion. I don't know why, maybe because I enjoy it, because there's a certain lightness to it that I think I could drink it in the summertime. And there's a certain maltiness to it that I think it works in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point because, I mean, nowadays IPAs are so ubiquitous in this country, in the craft beer scene. You know, we're all finding ourselves drinking 7% ales quite often. So it's kind of contradictory that my initial response would be like, I don't know if I'd want to be drinking 7%, you know, malty beer all the time. But at the same time, I don't always, like, IPAs are not my go-to necessarily. I like the flavor of IPAs, but I sometimes make the choice not to drink an IPA because I know it's going to be a begging. And so I find myself, if I'm going to go out and, you know, have sort of a session of, I know I'm going to be drinking more than a few beers, I'm looking for that sort of lighter beer.
Right.
But
But does this
is
taste
sort
like
of
a
like the
7% to
malty
you?
version of a. No, it's very well integrated. I mean, I think it's very smooth, and that's the mark of a nicely made lager, is that you have this kind of clean, smooth, well integrated character. But I think the point that I was trying to make just then was that you have sort of two beer styles that kind of occupy that same range of alcohol quality, and one is really all about the hops, and one is really all about that malt character and that sort of clean quality. So it really just depends on what you like, I guess.
Yeah. I really like this beer, and
It's a nice one.
And I feel bad for all of you out there, because unless you come to Fort Worth, Texas, or around Texas, you really can't get this. And so for that, my apologies for doing this episode, but I just had to, because I was such a big fan, and I wanted your opinion on it.
What's the range that Rahr's shipping now?
I am not sure. If I can find out on the website, I will put it right along here at the bottom. But I think you can get it Northeast Texas, most of Northeast Texas. They had last winter, because it never snows here, we had a bad snowstorm, 12 inches of snow in Texas. It set a record, and it collapsed their entire building. So they lost everything. So when we did our episode there, and you can go back and look at some of those, they actually benefited from that. They built this really big facility now, and so they're brewing a lot more beer. They actually upgraded than they ever used to. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start reaching at least a little bit more, maybe into Mississippi and Arkansas and Oklahoma, kind of around us. I think they have the capacity. You were in there. I mean, they definitely would have the capacity.
They could easily, and there's plenty of space to add more tanks, and I could see them, taking some strides in the next couple of years.
And since we have a bar here at Studios 121, we have our beer on tap, and so we have Bock on tap, and people who don't normally drink beer really enjoy this beer. To me, that's a mark of a good beer. If people who don't usually aren't big beer drinkers, and they go, oh, well, that's kind of nice. To me, that says a lot, because it means it kind of crosses over to people who are used to either not drinking beer or drinking the lighter kind of beers.
I think it's the malty quality, because I think malt flavors are more accessible than hop flavors for people that are just kind of coming to the table with craft beer. So I think you're right. I mean, I can see why it would be more accessible.
Yeah.
But this is a nice example of a Bock beer, and I hope that we'll be able to spread the word on Rahr Sons Brewing Company.
Rahr Sons, Bucking Bock, German-style spring Bock. So there you go. Paul at BeerAmerica.tv.
Pink at BeerAmerica.tv.
Catch us on iTunes, BeerAmerica.tv, our YouTube channel, Facebook page, all that good stuff. We're there. Cheers.
Ching. Malty goodness.
Yeah, melty goodness.